Hello, everyone. This is another episode of Fire Breathing Rob. Thanks for listening to us on YouTube. And if you listen to us on the radio, thanks also for that. We greatly appreciate that. This is Athena Dawson. All right, she is. She goes to school at UCF and she is about to graduate. So, Athena, thanks so much for going on the program. We greatly appreciate it.
I'm super excited to be here for sure.
All right, so before we get into all this, tell us about you and all this stuff, I want to get into firstly, with the coronavirus going on, as I just discussed in the opening, people are doing the push-ups, people are doing all different workouts. Obviously, gyms are closed because of the quarantine. What would you tell viewers as far as working out? We see a lot of people on bikes, running. Was that what you would tell them to do because the gym is closed?
It's very difficult for us, especially if you're someone who uses the gym as like a form of therapy or something that's embedded into your daily routine. For me personally, I like to start off my mornings the same way during this quarantine with working out, just because it brings back the normal into my life. Right. But of course, you're limited because you don't have the weights, you don't have the platforms, you don't have the gym community there to support you. But at the same time, this whole experience is an opportunity to get creative. It's an opportunity to set new goals that you wouldn't otherwise think of and try new things, stuff like that. There is no way that I would think right now my goal would be, like running every morning and doing all these body weight exercises. So ultimately, it's a chance to expand your horizon. And if you're lucky enough to have a bike and free weights in the park to work out at, take advantage of it.
Right, why not? So let's get back into the regular interview. And I just told the audience that you are originally from Boston, Massachusetts. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself besides that?
Yeah, of course. So I grew up in Boston. I decided to come to Florida. And when I came to Florida, I came here knowing nobody. So imagine starting your life, you're still young, you're just 18, right? I got here. I didn't know anyone. I didn't know what to do with my time. As your freshman year isn't too time consuming. I wasn't in Greek life or anything. So I remember just sitting in my dorm room, right? I didn't have a roommate. And the thought of like, what's next? What do I do now would ponder in my mind. And that's exactly how I got into fitness. I lived right across from the gym. I knew that I couldn't just sit around all day. I knew it's a great opportunity to meet people, do something that I could be potentially passionate about. So I just dove into it. And my loneliness coming down to Florida is literally what started off my fitness career, as you call it.
Right. Now, were you physically active, rather, I should say, before attending UCF, or did you kind of just really get in the groove once you got here?
Oh, I was always doing something. I used to be a gymnast, which kind of set my foundation, but I would never worry about, what I was eating or what muscle imbalances I had to work on or anything like that. It was none of that. So I was always relatively healthy for sure, but UCF didn't have a gymnastics team. I couldn't, again, just sit around. So that's definitely how I got into it.
You are a trainer in your daily life. Do you train mostly men or women, or who do you train? Is it a mix of both?
It's definitely a mix of both. I'd say that I do train more women. I feel like women are more comfortable training with females. That's just the trend that I've seen. But I've definitely worked with both. I think ultimately, it's the same movements, compound movements, exercise science for both males and females. It's literally the same thing.
Do you feel like a lot of men, and this goes into this could be viewed as sexist with men, that a lot of men are afraid to get trained by a woman? Do you see that sometimes?
I totally see it. You don't want to see a female. I mean, again, like you said, it could be viewed as sexist, arguably, but it's true. Like men don't like to see women outperform them, kind of thing. But it's also with working with your ego, like if you're a male that doesn't know your stuff, you just got to accept that even though somebody else is the opposite gender and they have more experience, you could still learn a lot from them. And I feel like once people understand that, they're more willing and accepting to follow your instruction, kind of thing. But you're definitely right. It's definitely a thing.
Agreed. And I see that with men all the time. Honestly, with me, I could care less if it's a guy or a girl as long as they know this stuff and I'm not going to
Yeah,
get hurt while working out.
that's
That's the
the
main
most
objective.
important thing.
And speaking about that, since I just brought that up to you, when you're training people in the gym, and obviously, if they're not a client of you, they're on their own. They're doing all their different workouts. I feel like we see this a lot with men and women that they'll be doing a machine or even lifting free weights, and they are totally out of whack. And how do you feel like that? Do you go up to somebody even if they are not their client and say, hey, you're not working out correctly. You're going to eventually get it.
It's so funny you say that because I think about this often and I ponder whether or not I should say something because people get
Right.
so offended
Ended.
if you correct them sometimes. Some people appreciate it as, like you said, they could definitely get hurt. But on the other end of the spectrum, it messes with people's ego. Same with the sexism thing. If a woman's coming up to you and you're this big guy and she tells you you're doing it wrong, he's not going to take you seriously about it. So for me, my kind of code is that if I see someone that looks like they could seriously injure themselves or looks like they don't have experience, I would try to approach them in a very friendly manner, maybe start off a little conversation, then it'd be like, hey, I see you're trying to work A, B, and C. This is my favorite exercise for it, and then do that. So it's like a suggestion over a correction, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, but Athena, if you do that as a woman and toward a guy, they might think you're hitting on them. It goes into that whole aspect. So it's kind of puts you in a
That
tougher
down real quick.
situation. Say that again?
You could shut that down real quick.
Well, we want to get into that because that's a big thing in the gym. We're going to get into that later in the interview too.
Okay.
As a person that's a woman that's in the gym consistently, I want to definitely speak about that. But I want to get back into your training. How do you figure out, because, I'm sure you get quite a few clients and you talk to them about different things while, you're assessing if they're a good fit for you or not. So how do you figure out if somebody is a good fit for you or maybe they're not and you shift them off to somebody else?
I think it's very important for you to be honest with yourself and your capabilities kind of thing. I don't think you should put someone else's time, energy, and money into you if you don't think you're the right fit. That's very selfish, arguably. So what I like to do is I like to offer free consultations first and figure out if they have any injuries, what their goals are, what they're trying to do. And I definitely network a lot with other coaches and people too. So if I truthfully feel like somebody isn't the best fit for me, for example, like if they had a past injury that I don't know much about, then I'll kind of just pass them on to someone else. And that seemed to work best for me because, it establishes credibility within me. It helps me build my network with other coaches, and ultimately they're getting their most out of their time and money with the coach that's there for them.
So how many people do you train around in general?
In general, it goes through phases, especially with school. I'd say on average, I do in-person training and I try to keep it to about 6 to 10 clients a week. But currently, I want to, again, further establish my credibility. So right now, especially with the coronavirus, I can't train people right now. I'm taking the time to get all my certifications, including the NASM and the CSCS, which is like the top of the line certification. So once I have those, I'll already be graduated by then. I'll have all the time in the world to expand my whole coaching business. And, I'll be able to accept more clients because I'll know more due to these certifications. It's a win-win.
Go ahead. I'm sorry, Athena.
I just said it's a win-win,
How do you motivate people in general that aren't, really motivated?
That's a tricky one. And unfortunately, it doesn't happen a lot. What I like to do, of course, if people are comfortable with it, is I like to film their workouts and keep track of all their numbers because especially when you're a beginner, you are going to see so much progress within the first few weeks. So if I'm documenting their numbers and their pictures and stuff and consistently show them, hey, look at how much you did compared to last week. Hey, look at your shoulders are finally coming in, having someone to show them that their time and energy is worthwhile gets them to keep going. Not only that, but I found what's very effective is sitting down during the consultation and making goals before you even start. And then taking baby steps to get there so that, let's say, by week 3, they're feeling unmotivated. You could show them, you've already hit these 3 mini goals. You're already halfway there. You kind of can't back out now. So it's all about accountability in the end. That's my final answer.
Thank you for that. What is the most important? Should it be, is it a balance of both, eating correctly and working out? Or is it, would you say it's just working out?
There's actually a rule. It's called the 70-30 rule. It's 70% is diet, 30% is working out. If you gave me the ultimatum and I had to choose one, I would say that eating clean is most important, just because, you are what you eat kind of thing, and you could limit your caloric intake based on what your schedule's like, how many calories you burn a day kind of thing. So if you're not exercising and eating clean, you're just going to have to eat less, which nobody wants to do. Everybody wants to eat a whole bunch of food. So that's why, working out is important. Earn those calories, use them. You're not going to get a desired, even curvy figure if you're not working out, no matter how clean you eat at the same time.
Athena Dawson here. She is a trainer and also goes to UCF. Is about to graduate here on Fire Breathing Rob. Let's talk about this. You spoke about how you mostly train females as far as a trainer. What do you tell girls? And I hear about this all the time through dating girls and also through having girls as friends. A lot of them are worried about when they go in the gym, they're going to get too jacked, too buff. What do you say to those girls when you're training them?
Isn't that unfortunate? Because it's so not true. The amount of food you got to eat and steroids you have to take to actually look bulky is insane. I've been at this consistently for years, and I've never even thought in the mirror once that I look too big. It doesn't happen. You're going to have to lift so much weight and such heavy weight to even get close to that. If anything, I feel like lifting weights could make you look more feminine. If you're strengthening your back, it's good to illustrate a smaller core. If you're working out your legs, everybody wants nice, big, juicy legs, So at the end of the day, I personally feel like it's only going to make you look more feminine, especially if you do it in a structured way. But overall, it's not going to make you look bulky. It doesn't happen like that.
What do you figure out is the best workout in nutrition for your client? How do you figure that out? Is it just through talking or through their body weight or body fat? How do you figure that out?
If you're trying to come up with a structured plan, or if I am at least for a client, you need to figure out a whole bunch of aspects. First thing is you got to figure out their goals. Their workouts and their daily caloric intake are going to differ per person, not only based on their height and weight, but mostly their goals. If someone's trying to increase strength, you can't have them in a caloric deficit. So you need to understand their goals. You need to understand their activity level, things like height and weight, stuff like that. It all kind of plays a factor. And there's a math and science that goes into creating someone's custom macronutrients. So that's fats, protein, and carbs. Nobody's is going to be the same. So you really have to have a good understanding of everything that goes on their life to make a structured plan that would fit for each individual person.
But in general, and we see the food pyramid, it's changed quite often, before people in their 20s, such as yourself and me, were born, and it's changed now again. So what would you tell people? I know you spoke about it. Obviously, everybody's body is different and everybody wants to, build different body parts as far as working out. But in general, what would you tell people to stick to as far as eating healthy and nutritious in general?
That's a good question. I would say that you want to eat roughly 1 gram of protein per body weight. You want to keep your sugars under 10 grams per meal. You always want to have half a plate of veggies for every meal. Don't be afraid of carbs, especially before and after your workouts. Carbs are fuel that only help you. And then healthy fats are very important too, especially, when you're going to be taking a test, right? It helps with brain function. So the best healthy fats include stuff like avocados, nuts, all that fun stuff. So just, have a variety. Keep it at a variety.
Right. To keep going into nutrition is just to follow up on what you're saying, then we'll move on to protein. We look at the food labels and, there's stuff in these food labels that we can't even pronounce. We don't know what the hell they are. They hide all these, you spoke about sugars and keeping sugars down, but there's so many different names for sugars and you really have to research these food labels on the back of the food to really know what's in the food. Do you talk a lot about that with your clients as far as those hidden sugars?
Right. I think that topic could be very complicated, and the easiest answer to give anyone is just keep your food simple. Don't go for all this processed food where you'll need to worry about what's in your food. Get food that you already know what's in it. There's so many things that could go into chicken, broccoli, and rice. So, like I said, I'd recommend to keep it simple. Don't overexhaust it though. If you want a Pop-Tart, a processed food, have it in moderation because, it keeps you sane and you deserve it if you just busted a workout. But overall, just keep it simple and you shouldn't have to worry too much about hidden macronutrients and stuff like that.
But what would you tell your clients as far as women to take protein and pre-workout when there is all these kind of additives and things in these proteins and pre-workouts that we can't pronounce? We don't even know what's in there.
Pre-workout, you definitely have to take at your own risk because, again, that stuff gets so crazy, especially if you're taking a big, dry scoop of pre-workout right before a run. Your heart's going to feel like it's going to explode. So it depends on the individual. If they're, comfortable with something like that, I'd recommend a little bit of it. I personally like pre-workout before my workouts just because it gets me hype and ready for it. Granted, there is a whole bunch of random stuff in it, but again, that depends on the preference of the individual. When it comes to protein and stuff, there's no better option than, again, the real stuff like chicken, meat, all that. But the reason people have protein shakes is because of the convenience. It's super easy. It's quick. You could bring it wherever. So, I would live off that stuff when I would have busy days before this quarantine. And I'm alive and thriving. So for right now, I think that you don't have to overthink about it. Choose chicken over protein shakes when you can. But again, it's about the convenience.
So to go into body shaming and that, did you experience any of that? I know that gymnasts have to be a certain height, a certain weight to really get into that. And also, what would be your advice that you would give young men and women on how to be comfortable in their own skin?
So when it comes to gymnastics, I didn't really think about that at all just because I was younger,
Right,
like in middle
that's
school
fair.
and high school, the thought of it didn't consume anything. But now, with me running my own fitness page on social media, you feel a slight pressure to look a certain way so that people find you inspiring and motivational and credible. But what I personally think is you want to show the Instagram versus reality side of you because at the end of the day, you're only human, and people like me who work out all the time and are super conscious about what they eat, not going to look perfect all the time. And people need to understand that because it brings them in and makes me feel like I'm on the same level as everyone else. So my advice to everyone that's, maybe struggling with this is that on Instagram and social media and stuff, those pictures that you see are the one perfect picture out of 100 taken. I take so many pictures until I find the right one. There's no way. If you see me walking down the street, I probably look like a completely different person again because the angles and the lighting, it all takes a toll out of it. And also too, like, the goal of working out shouldn't be to look perfect. It should be to feel perfect, like feel good about yourself and your worth ethic and your goals being achieved and stuff like that.
Have you gotten any hate, because you are on Instagram all the time and you are pretty big on Instagram in general. Have you gotten any hate or people that do kind of body shame you, even though you do work out consistently and do look good?
People definitely always have something to say, but what I
Mhm.
like to come back to them with is the fact that when you work really hard at something, you want to show it off. Artists and athletes and everything, you show off your final product. And for a bodybuilder, it's your body. So you're going to show off what you're working hard for. And some people get uncomfortable about that. And if you're uncomfortable with something like that, then, don't be following fitness models on Instagram. You know what I mean? You just
Right.
don't do it. It's part of the industry. It really is. At least I feel so.
So how did you build to kind of capitalize off that? How did you build your clientele on Instagram and, get so big on Instagram in general?
I think it's a lot about engagement and credibility. You always want to be interacting people. You always want to be giving people a reason why to pay attention to what you're doing.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? I try
Yeah.
to keep people engaged by just doing monthly challenges and workouts that could benefit other people. You just want people to always be involved, learn something from you. Don't make it all about yourself. Of course, there's a lot of things that I still have to learn, but that's what the whole process is. You take it day by day, be yourself, try to stand out, have your own niche, and you'll be good. That's what's been most successful for me so far.
Great. This is Athena Dawson. She is a trainer and also is graduating at UCF fairly soon. To keep going on, Athena, about this, I want to speak on this. You spoke about, and it said in your LinkedIn profile that you are a brand advisor and with Elevate Fitness. Can you speak about that?
So the best part about this kind of industry is you get such great opportunities to work with other local young entrepreneurs. So I got a lot of people reaching out to me wanting to do partnerships and giveaways and stuff like that with all these little brands. And I really like doing that because I myself am a young entrepreneur. If I have a
Right.
platform with it, I want to support other people trying to do the same thing. So basically, when they reach out to me, my motive is hosting giveaways for their product, trying to get that stuff out there, taking pictures, modeling their things, having discount codes, promoting their products, stuff like that, just being involved and trying to make an impact on their business. Because at the end of the day, it all comes full circle. You help someone, they're going to help you.
Speak on that. What do you feel like is the best type of clothing to wear to the gym? I see, some people wear baggy clothes, some people wear clothes that's fit right to their body. What would you say that for men and women in general?
Oh man, that's a complicated question because it all depends on the preference. As for me personally, I like to wear clothes where I could see, my muscles moving and my progress and stuff like that. So I do show up to the gym in sports bras and spandex just to, motivate myself while looking at myself in the mirror kind of thing. But I'd say that right now the biggest trend in the industry is crop tops. Alpha Lean and Gymshark are dominating with them, and I love my colorful leggings. Can't get enough of them. But right now with the quarantine in Florida, you can't be working out with leggings in 90-degree weather. So I got to do a shopping spree right now and get like 10 more pairs of spandex. I've also jumped on the fanny pack grind. I'm bringing it back, which is awesome for my walks and stuff. I can have my phone, my hand sanitizer, Lysol wipes, some gum. I need to go on Amazon and literally get a fanny pack of every color now.
Athena, take it easy. I know we're in quarantine, but don't blow all your money right now. I mean, you got to
See
take
how
it easy.
excited I got about fanny packs? It's pathetic. That's the hype now, I guess.
All right, so let's go on to this. You kind of brought this up a little bit with looking good in the gym. And obviously, as you said, it's about preference. But let's talk about this. We see, and I feel like this is mostly guys. You can correct me if girls do this also. But I feel
Okay.
like a lot of guys go in the gym to work out, fair, and that's correct. But a lot of guys go in there and they start staring women down in the gym. And, I've looked at girls in the gym. I'm not going to lie. I am a male too. But a lot of guys, a lot of guys go in there and, stare girls down. They try to talk them up. And, most people are at a gym to work out and to, do as you've said throughout the whole program, get their best, feel their best. So what would you feel is the proper gym etiquette for this? Have you had this experience? I'm pretty sure you have.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh, the amount of times, like sometimes I can't even understand how people exist like this, where you would literally be working out and you see like men have filmed me so many times. It's so weird.
Filmed
And I
you?
see yeah,
Wow.
like literally, I
That's
mean,
a little
if I
sketchy.
see someone filming me, you better bet I'm going right to the front and ratting them out. I should be more confrontational. I wished I had the energy to just go up to them and smack their phone out of their hands, but I don't. Maybe one day. But proper gym etiquette wise, I don't think it's inappropriate to look staring. That's kind of weird. Just let the person do their thing. Once they're done working out, that's a great opportunity to go and talk to people, because that, it's a perspective that the gym is also a social place. Like there's a lot of like-minded people with you that you definitely want to know, but there's a time and place for that. If someone's working out, let them finish and catch them afterwards, kind of thing.
Yeah, no, I was just saying that with all the, being on Instagram and constantly, taking pictures and having a following that, I mean, I am a guy, but guys can be creepy. They can follow you and, being at UCF and knowing you're at the gym, they could follow
It
you into
happens.
the gym. That's what I feel like could be scary. And that's what I was trying to kind of get to on that, where, people could, follow you and know you go to a certain gym, and there could be some scary issues down the road. Do you ever worry about that?
Unfortunately, that happens, especially
Oh,
now with
God.
me working out at a park. I always go at the same time and I post about it, right? And a
Yeah.
big majority of my following is from UCF. So I would go there and, people know that I work out at that place at that time. So, people would come up to me and, strike a conversation saying that they follow me on media and stuff like that. But granted, if, I had a crazy stalker out there, he'll know exactly when I'm there and what I'm doing and everything. So I've definitely made it a point to post my videos later than when I go, just so it kind of gives me that leeway.
Fair.
There are things that I should definitely do to be more careful,
Yeah.
which, maybe this is my awakening. Maybe I'll take it a little bit more seriously now, because it could definitely get crazy.
Who influenced you the most in your fitness journey so far?
There's a lot of people that have started this whole fitness thing with me, and watching them work consistently with me and even take off. A lot of my friends, they were under 5,000 following for quite a while, and all it takes is one post to blow up and you hit, 100K in just a little amount of months. So I feel like watching people's progress to be consistent and keep at it and not give up really motivates me to, keep going for it. And the Instagram handles, one of them is Aaron Fitness, another one is Eddie's Fitness. They both started off as really small accounts. Overnight they just blew up, and it happens. It's how Instagram kind of works. So I love seeing people start off small and blow up like that.
And how would you give them advice to, maybe blow it up? Is it pictures? Is it more of, being friends with somebody that's got a bigger following? How does it work?
No, I don't think it has to do with your network really at all. I think it's all about being yourself, being consistent, standing out, having something to offer for people. Why are people following you? What could they get out of it? Kind of thing. So developing that niche and building on it is very tricky to do. But once you'll get it, you'll know. Keep track of your numbers, keep engaging with other accounts, and just be patient. When you love something like that, it's not even going to feel like a chore to try to grow it, because you're going to enjoy it regardless. And you just have to find that passion for it, whether you have 100 followers or 100,000 followers.
Right. So what is your Instagram like right now? How many followers in general?
Roughly, I'm almost at 10K, which is awesome. It kind of, it blew up probably 2 months ago. So it's been getting a steady stream. And of course,
How did it
it's
blow up?
from one post. It just takes one post. I had this
What was
one
the
post.
post?
It wasn't even anything special, which is the most aggravating thing. Like sometimes I spend so much time researching my captions and, making a great post out of something. And then, of course, a picture of a gym friend and I making silly faces with a caption, positive vibes, blows up. Like, it's so annoying. But it was me and my friend Liz, and we were just taking a picture outside of the gym. And it got engagement of, I think, 200,000, which is insane.
Wow. That is
When
insane.
you only have about 10K followers and you see a number like that, it blew up. So then all the other posts after that continued to blow up. And then, after that, it's just been a consistent amount of people. So who knows? Maybe I just need to do another stupid caption to a good picture and see what happens.
Maybe so. Wow,
But
that's
it's
really
okay.
impressive.
Crazy,
So
right?
yeah, I agree. That's crazy. So let's get to, I have 3 more questions left. And thanks so much, Athena, for taking so much time. It's really been informative for me, and I'm sure the listeners are enjoying this as well. What advice would you give younger women who do want to be a trainer?
I would say, make sure you're passionate about it. Don't rush to it. If you want to do something, you want to be at the best at it. So in order to be the best at it, take time to invest in yourself and properly get your certifications and all the information you need to help other people. There shouldn't be a rush to it. You could, use the time to establish relationships and credibility before you jump into the actual training role. And just take it as it is. Take it slowly, see if you like it, and continue to build it up from there.
And the last 2 questions are about you. First thing, what is your favorite type of training? Strength, cardio, what is it?
Oh, it's always strength training. Cardio is a drag for me, always, unfortunately.
Okay.
Well,
Well,
that's not true. Do you know, with the Spotify Discover Weekly, I can make it fun, but definitely strength training.
what type of strength training do you like?
I do like my compound lifts. So, squats. And, I like it so much because I'll say this as humbly as I can, I'm good at it, right? So I love walking to the bench press or the squat rack knowing that I'll be able to keep up with the numbers of the people to the right and left of me. You know what I mean? And I think that's something that a lot of beginners really struggle with, is going to the gym and finding the motivation to, lift weights with people that are so ahead of you. It's intimidating, but you just have to work through that. And once you're there at the point where you could keep up with and even exceed the people around you, it's very motivating to keep at it, and you're just not going to want to stop.
Athena, do you prefer to lift with other people or by yourself?
I'm very picky, so I like to lift by myself and do my own thing, but I love people being around. I love the encouraging and supportive gym community there. It's great because, you have the company, but you don't need to compromise with anyone because you could just do what you want,
Are you speaking of at UCF or a different gym?
Well, I used to go to the UCF gym, but I would get in so much trouble there all the time because the rules at the UCF gym are bonkers. You can't show any page, you can't show your stomach, you can't grunt too loud, you can't do this, you can't do that. So I've been thrown out of that gym so many times to the point where I would have to memorize my friends' schedules that would work at the gym so that I could know that I could wear a little bit of a crop top. And I was just sick of it, so I switched over to 24-hour, and now I can do what I want. It's awesome.
Wow, that's crazy. I didn't know. That's a beautiful gym. That's why I said that. But
I know, isn't it a shame?
Last 2 questions. What are your goals in life?
In life, I'd say, keep it brief, keep it simple. I just want to be happy and healthy. I know that sounds so broad, but you really can't
Okay.
go wrong with that. And fitness is definitely that is something that brings me both of those things.
Well, let me frame it in a different way. Do you prefer to move past a trainer, or is there anything else as far as fitness that you'd like to achieve besides being a trainer?
Oh, totally. I would love to start, my own company with something like that, whether it's, a clothing brand or supplements or even like more of an online virtual website aspect of training, where I could focus on more than just a few people a day kind of thing. That's definitely that gonna come out of graduation where I have more time to create an action plan and a career path. I'll have all my certifications from then. But in the meantime, again, I'm just building my network and my credibility and working up to that point. But there's definitely more to come than just a personal.
Lastly, where can people find you, follow you, and find more about you?
I mostly, for all my social handles, I nominate on Instagram. So it's Athena_fitness with 3 S's. I am there all the time posting workouts in my stories, challenges, variations, stuff like that. So I'd love to see you guys there, and tell me you came here from this podcast. That would be really fun to find out.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Athena. Dawson.